Good morning everyone, welcome to a daily vlog on my commute to work. Before we start, please always drive safe, do not text and drive. If you film yourself, don't hold the camera in your hand, mount it on a safe place where it cannot kind of fly in your car. Turn off the display on the DJI Pocket 3 or action cams. You have the battery saving mode where the display will be turned off, or on the DJI Pocket 3 you can just switch the whole camera around so you don't get distracted by the display. Please always drive safe, don't get distracted, and yeah, if you vlog, treat it as if you were talking on the speakerphone, but don't have a display distracting you. Today's vlog is somewhat of a continuation to yesterday's vlog, where I kind of talked about decision fatigue, but I also wanted to kind of look at decision fatigue from the gas perspective, gear acquisition syndrome. 2 days ago, I talked about the new Nikon Zr, the new, in air quotes, cinema camera from Nikon in collaboration, or no, together with Red. I mean, Nikon has bought Red, and yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about this from the gear acquisition syndrome perspective. I don't have any money. I'm not going to buy a new camera because I'm still struggling with some legal battles. I know for those of you who watch these videos daily, this feels like a broken record, but I always kind of assume that people who watch these videos at the moment are new people and don't know what I'm talking about. So I kind of mentioned this multiple times. So I have this legal battle with the client who's not paying me, which is the reason why I just don't have any money. And I honestly, even if I had the money, there isn't a very reasonable, justifiable argumentation to actually buy a new camera, because I have the Fuji X-H2S, I have this DJI Pocket 3, and I do these, or I utilize these cameras for YouTube, and I'm not really making any money out of those cameras. So buying a new camera, although I have these two cameras available and although I don't make any money with these cameras, is very unreasonable. Nevertheless, it's fun to kind of think about what kind of camera I would buy if I would change my existing camera. And that is where decision fatigue comes into play. Again, I'm not going to buy a camera, but I like to think about it. And I'm kind of thinking, okay, what would be realistic? What kind of budget would I have? And I thought like, okay, maybe 1,500 to 2,000 would be a good number that would be realistic. So the Nikon or Nikon, it depends. I think in Asia they say Nikon, in USA they say Nikon. So since I'm Asian, I will say Nikon. I'm German. Let's be real, I'm German. So the Nikon Zr would be a perfect camera. So, but body only it's 2,300, and I would need to buy a lens. I would need to buy new storage media because I personally only have SD cards. So it's not that reasonable to buy that, or it wouldn't be in my budget, let's say it that way. So I was kind of looking at, okay, I'm already at Fuji, so I have some Fuji gear. I'm considering buying a Fuji lens for my XM5. So what would be a good alternative? And there obviously would be the Fuji X-H2S, which unfortunately for some weird reason goes used on MPB for 1,900. So even more than full frame alternative, which I also looked at, which is the Lumix S5 2X, a full frame camera that is really good. That goes for 1,600 used on MPB. But with that, I would need to also invest into lenses. So it would go around with in a similar price bracket. And so was always kind of thinking, okay, so going to decision fatigue. Okay, the one camera is full frame, but it's a little bit cheaper, but then I would need to buy a lens. Then thinking about the Fuji, okay, if I get the Fuji, it's more expensive, but I could utilize the lenses that I already have, but it's not full frame, so the ISO capabilities aren't as good like on the full frame, but the full frame crops in once I go into slow motion. Both cameras are much bigger than what I would be comfortable with to carry around on a daily basis. Therefore, I wouldn't use this necessarily as an everyday camera for stills. So I would not sell the Fuji X-M5. And I know this is a lot right now, and I'm just kind of bringing you into my thought process. So, okay, no money from selling an existing camera. So I want to keep the X-M5. So the best solution would be to still go with the Fuji, because then I wouldn't need to buy new lenses and I could utilize the lenses that I already own and have not only utilize the ones that I already own, but more importantly, I wouldn't kind of clog up my photography camera bag with multiple different lenses, but I could utilize just the lenses for that one system. So staying with one system would be a much more reasonable idea. But again, then there are the downsides. Okay, this is a crop sensor, so no ISO. It's also more expensive, but then I don't have to buy new lenses. And okay, maybe it's more reasonable. It's better to invest a little bit more. Maybe I should go with 2,300, save up some more, buy the Nikon Zr, but then also lens and cage and stuff like that. That all in all would probably be an investment of 3,500 if I'm realistic. And yeah, that is so overwhelming. And as I said, this is where decision fatigue kind of creeps into your brain and is exhausting you. And while it is so much fun to think about gear and to think about, oh, what could I buy next? We get back to the video that I've made multiple days ago, where I said something about best versus usable, want versus need. And do I need a new camera? No. Can I afford a new camera? No. So this decision shouldn't need to be made. So that's the first two things. Then, would I actually use the camera to its fullest capabilities? Meaning, I'm a lazy person when it comes down to lugging around the camera. So in essence, I would still only carry around my Fuji X-M5 on a daily basis because it's small. So the camera that I would upgrade to would probably just be laying around at home and gathering dust most of the time. So the solution definitely would be rather invest in the lenses and then just rent the bigger camera for any potential jobs that might arise in the future. And so that is something where you can kind of stop yourself from not only kind of caving into the gear acquisition syndrome, but more importantly, with this thinking, you won't avoid decision fatigue, because when you have gear acquisition syndrome, you will eventually just creep into what camera to buy next. And then you kind of start, making those decisions, although you realistically know that you're not going to buy that camera anyway. But I think it's so important to be very conscious about that you are kind of walking into the trap of trying to make decisions, and that is fatiguing you and kind of reminding you okay, is this actually something that I need? Is this actually something that I will use to its fullest capabilities and to its money's worth, meaning the investment that I will be making into this piece of whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be necessarily camera. It also could be a car. I see so many people buying a new car and they aren't actually able to use it properly. For example, in Hamburg, getting a parking space in front of your apartment sometimes is so difficult. I was living in the so-called Schanze for a long time, and I've never bought a car because you aren't able to find a good parking spot. And if you actually find a parking spot right in front of your apartment, you always in the morning you're trying to decide, okay, am I going to take the car, or would it be better to just stick to that parking spot, leave the car, and then just take the bus? And I have a couple of friends who actually think that way every single day, and creating this decision loop and this decision fatigue creeps in because they do think about this. Okay, am I really wanting to kind of give up this parking spot? It's right in front of my house and I needed 40 minutes just to find that spot. Or am I just going to take the bus? And that's what I'm saying about, is spending that money for a car, in your case, actually that useful? And all of these small decisions and choices that you have to make during whatever it might be are fatiguing you in the long run. And that is why I'm saying, yes, gear acquisition syndrome and looking at new cameras is fun, but always kind of keep in mind, do I really need to make this decision? Is this something that I will use? This is something that I need to buy or that I want to buy? And is it actually usable? Is this an important decision that I need to make? I think decision fatigue is real, especially nowadays when we are overwhelmed with so many choices. And it's really hard. It's really hard to kind of work against that and help yourself not to get fatigued. So yeah, I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, especially when it comes down to the entertainment that I have after work at night. As I said yesterday, with all of the streaming services, it's so hard not to get overwhelmed by all of the movie and series choices that you have on Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime. I went ahead, I paused Netflix, but I probably will cancel it just for the time being. As far as I know, I can kind of pause my subscription for 3 months. I have to do that monthly, so every time 1 week before the pause stops, I need to re-pause it again. And I probably will do that because I'm just feeling too overwhelmed. And Google Gemini yesterday said, okay, limiting your choices is the best way to go when you feel decision fatigued. And yeah, I'm just starting with that, and I'm probably just trying to make some choices. For example, again, going to this camera topic, I'm probably just going to limit myself and telling myself, if I ever want to upgrade, I'm going to stay with Fuji no matter the trade-offs there might be. And that will help me to at least kind of not get fatigued in terms of choosing a different brand or whatever it might be. All right, so that was my little vlog about camera choice decision fatigue. Let me know in the comment section below, also, as I asked you yesterday as well, what are you doing in terms of decision fatigue? And also, I love talking about cameras. Let's talk also a little bit about cameras. Is there a camera that you are interested in? Let me know in the comment section below, and more importantly, why. And maybe check out the video from yesterday in the video up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. Help me by liking and potentially hyping this video. and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss tomorrow's vlog by clicking the button up here. I see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.